I'll never forget the moment Sheriff Harper snapped those handcuffs on Laura Bennett's wrists. Her face a mix of shock and fury, like a storm cloud about to burst. Laura, the self-appointed queen of Pine Ridge Estates, had finally met her match, and the whole neighborhood was there to see it. But let me take you back to where it all began, to a trashed cabin, a bear, and a woman who thought she could bend a mountain community to her will. It started with a call to Pine Ridge, where I work as part of the wildlife management team. I'd seen plenty of my 15 years on the job, but nothing like this. A fancy A-frame cabin, all glass and polished wood, was torn to pieces. Shattered windows, furniture in splinters, and claw marks from a massive black bear etched into the walls. Trash was everywhere, a trail of garbage leading from the woods through a smashed patio door into the ruined kitchen. Sheriff Harper pulled me aside, his face grim. "We've got footage," he said, nodding to his cruiser. "You want to see this?" The first video showed what I expected, a huge male bear tearing through the cabin like it was made of paper. But the second clip, timestamped 2 days earlier, stopped me cold. There was Laura Bennett, decked out in designer hiking gear, hauling bags of garbage to the edge of her property, right where the forest started. "That's the homeowner," Sheriff Harper sighed. "Laura Bennett. Bought this place 3 months ago and been a headache ever since." Laura swept into Pine Ridge like a wildfire. I first met her at a homeowners association meeting, where she wasted no time laying into our substandard upkeep and the junk vehicles some folks parked out front. She had this way of saying rustic that made it sound like an insult, like we were all backward for low VUI-ing our quiet, nature-bound life. Within weeks, she'd wormed her way onto the HOA board, and by some shady vote at a half-empty meeting, crowned herself president. "I ran an elite HOA back in Crestwood," she bragged, her smile sharp as a knife. "I know how to keep property values up. Most of us in Pine Ridge were regular folksome families went back generations. Others, like me, moved here to escape the cookie-cutter suburbs Laura seemed hell-bent on recreating. She targeted me early, slapping a laminated notice on my Chevy Silverado, claiming it was an industrial vehicle unfit for her VY shown of Pine Ridge. When I pointed out half the neighborhood drove trucks, she sneered, "Well, I suppose that's what you people do. You people, like knowing how to fix your own engine, made you less than her." Word got around she called us hillbillies when chatting with her city friends. The real trouble kicked off over trash. Pine Ridge has strict rules for garbage because of bears. You secure it in bear-proof dumpsters at the community lot until pickup day. Laura, though, found a 3-minute drive to the dumpsters beneath her. She started VYing trash in flimsy plastic bins behind her cabin, claiming she'd move it later. My neighbor, Jack Sullivan, whose land backed up to hers, tried to warn her one evening as she stacked overflowing bags by her bins. "Ma'am," he said, calm as ever, "you can't leave trash out like this. The bears will come." Laura spun on him, voice sharp enough to cut glass. "Don't lecture me about wildlife. I've seen Animal Planet. My fence'll keep anything out." Her fence was a decorative 4-foot border a squirrel could hop. Jack pressed, polite but firm. "We've had 3 bear incidents this season. This puts everyone at risk." Laura's face went crimson. "Are you threatening me? First, your rusty truck drags down my property value, and now this? Maybe the HOA needs to re-VYEW your status." The fight spilled over, loud enough for me to hear over my axe, splitting firewood. By morning, Jack found garbage strewn along their shared property line bags, matching Laura's, placed to look like they were his. The smell drew wildlife fast. A young bear was spotted by noon. Instead of owning up, Laura called the cops, accusing Jack of creating a health hazard with reckless trash disposal. Sheriff Harper showed up, took one look, and saw through it. The garbage had Laura's mail in it, and the setup was so OBVYS it screamed setup. He warned her about false reports and improper trash disposal. "This is serious, ma'am," he said. "Next time, you're getting cited." Laura flashed a fake smile. "Of course, Sheriff." Must have blown over from someone's less-kept property. Her eyes darted to Jack's tidy cabin. We hoped she'd learned her lesson. We were dead wrong. 2 nights later, Jack's security camera caught her red-handed. At midnight, Laura dragged 3 garbage bags into the woods behind her cabin, stashing them under bushes where they wouldn't be seen from her windows. "Out of sight, out of mind," she muttered on the recording. "No one will know till pickup. But bears don't need to see. They smell." That same night, a big male bear, one we'd tracked in the area, followed the scent straight to her stash. The garbage was just the start. Food smells from Laura's cabin left open despite every warning we'd given her drew the bear in. Security footage captured all. The bear ripping through the bags, then lumbering to an open window. It forced its way inside with terrifying ease, spending 2 hours trashing the place. Laura didn't see the damage until the next weekend. Her scream echoed across Pine Ridge. She was on the phone in minutes, first 911, then her insurance, then her lawyer. By the time I arrived with the wildlife team, she was unraveling, shrieking and pointing at Jack's cabin. "Those people did this. They lured that bear to ruin me. They've been against me since I tried to bring standards to this backwater." Sheriff Harper stayed calm, checking Jack's property for any trace of bear attractants. There were none. Laura kept ranting. "Check their trash. They're retaliating for my violation notices." What Laura didn't know was Jack had set up a trail camera after her last stunt. It caught her midnight dump in crystal clear detail. When Sheriff Harper and I watched the footage, the pieces fell together. This wasn't just negligent sight, was illegal dumping, followed by lies dependent on Jack. The sheriff's voice turned ice cold. "Ms. Bennett, you're coming with me." Laura's jaw dropped. "I'm the VY Tim. My home's destroyed." Harper didn't blink. "We have video of you dumping garbage in a wildlife zone, against my direct warning. That trash brought the bear that wrecked your cabin. You're also facing charges for false reporting." Laura went pale, stammering. "What camera? That's spying. It's illegal." A crowd of neighbors had gathered, watching silently as Harper laid it out. Illegal dumping, wildlife endangerment, false reports. Serious charges. Laura's voice hit a new pitch. "Do you know who I am? I'm the HOA president. I'll have your badge for this. You let these hillbillies run wild while I'm harassed." That's when Harper pulled out the handcuffs. "Ms. Bennett, turn around. Hands behind your back." The look on her face, shock, rage, and the slow realization she'd lost was something I'll never forget. As he led her to the cruiser, she was still yelling about property values and how she wasn't like these people. The courtroom was no kinder. Laura was found guilty on all counts. A due life, $5,000 fine, 200 hours of community service VYC with our wildlife program, and a year's probation. Her insurance company rejected her claim, citing her negligence. Leah VYing her with due loss $70,000 in repair costs. She stood there, no designer outfit, no smug grin, just a broken woman facing real consequences. The next day, the HOA board kicked her out as president. Pine Ridge was free. But here's where it gets messy. Was Laura just a city snob out of her depth, or a calculating bully who got what she deserved? Should Jack have confronted her sooner, or was he right to let her dig her own grave? And what about the HOA should we even have one if it lets people like Laura take over? Drop your thoughts below, hit that like button, and subscribe for more wild stories. Who's the real VY Lane here? Let's hear it.